Barcelona, one of the greatest clubs in history, known for their beautiful style of football, their great history, and their academy, La Masia, which produces some of the finest footballers to ever grace the game, once the gold standard of how a football club should be run. But nowadays, Barcelona are in bits, in utter shambles. They've lost their best player for free, they are broke, they keep losing managers, and the fans are not happy. But how did this great club become this messy? Well, it's down to arrogance, complacency, greed, and just pure stupidity. And nothing personifies pure stupidity more than the 2017 signing of 20-year-old winger Ousmane Dembele for 140 million euros and the 2018 signing for midfielder Philippe Coutinho for another 140 million euros, which is an obscene amount of money. Leading up to these terrible transfers, Barcelona were already on a bad run of signings, and they were burning money like there was no tomorrow. Back in 2015, they signed Arda Turan for 30 million, who flopped. In 2016, they bought Andre Gomes for 30 million, he flopped. Paco Alcacer for 27 million, he also flopped. And 22 million for Samuel Umtiti from Lyon, who showed moments of promise but ultimately flopped. So now we're in 2017, and Barcelona have been forced to sell their world-class talent winger Neymar to PSG for 200 million euros, a world record fee. Barcelona did not want to lose Neymar, and Messi even tried to convince him to stay, but they were helpless as PSG had met Neymar's release clause, and Neymar chose to live the easy life in French league. Initially, Barcelona had inserted a 200 million euros release clause in Neymar's contract, thinking no one would ever pay that much money for a single player. But PSG were now owned by a nation state and had unlimited money, and also had UEFA in their pockets to skirt around FFP. Seeing PSG spend 200 million, it made Barcelona want to flex their muscles without doing too much due diligence, and they chose Dembele as their first signing. Dembele was 19 years old and had only just completed his first season at Dortmund. Dortmund a year back bought him from Rennes for 15 million euros and signed him to a 5-year contract. Dembele in his first season at Dortmund, under the guidance of world-class manager Thomas Tuchel, he was outstanding. He played 50 games, scoring 10 goals and providing 22 assists, which are brilliant stats for a 19-year-old. Barcelona were convinced Dembele had to be their man, and they wanted him badly. But Dortmund just signed him last year and gave him a 5-year contract, so they had no reason to accept any offer from Barcelona, unless Barcelona were willing to make a godfather offer. So Barcelona, being the fools drunk with money that they are, make that godfather offer for 100 million euros up front, plus 40 million on add-ons. Dembele's counterpart Kylian Mbappe had just gone to PSG for 200 million, and these two wingers looked as the French stars of the future. But Dembele would turn out to be nowhere near the level of Mbappe. The second of the disastrous signings from Barcelona came 6 months later, which was for 24-year-old Philippe Coutinho, who they bought for 105 million euros upfront plus 40 million add-ons. Coutinho had joined Liverpool as a 19-year-old and became their leading talisman. He amassed 54 goals in 201 games for Liverpool. Now, while 140 million is absurd for any type of player, this transfer made more sense than the Dembele one, because Coutinho was older and he had been carrying Liverpool in the toughest league in the world, and he was getting better and better each season. Okay, so now Barcelona have spent a total of 280 million on 2 players who are both on high wages. Let's look at how the downfall unfolded. Dembele's first season was plagued by injuries, and he only played 23 matches, scoring 4 goals and providing 9 assists. Not a great first season, but Barcelona did have Messi and Suarez, who were enough to carry the team to glory. Second season was an improvement for Dembele, where he played 42 matches and scored 14 goals and 8 assists. Third season, though, was an absolute disaster for Dembele, where he only played 9 matches in all competitions, scoring only 1 goal and providing no assists. That season, he was constantly injured, and the fans were worried. There were questions in the media regarding Dembele's commitment to the game and how serious he took training. He would also turn up late to training. Barcelona at one point even had to hire a personal chef for him because he was going out and eating too much fast food. At this point, the Barcelona fans are starting to realise if Dembele would ever live up to his promise, and start thinking that they might have just overpaid for Dembele. Dembele's 4th season was a slight improvement, where he played 44 matches, scored 11 goals and provided 5 assists. There were improvements, but Barcelona fans expected better, especially for the money they paid for him, and patience was running out of how long you can wait until you develop this player. And currently, halfway through the 2021 season, Dembele has only played 8 matches so far with only 1 goal, and there's rumours of him leaving the club. Now let's look at Coutinho. Unlike Dembele, Coutinho is expected to perform instantly and blend into the squad instantly and become Neymar's replacement and a formed trio with Suarez and Messi, but that did not happen. His first season, he was getting booed by the fans for putting in lackluster performances. Coutinho responded to the booing once when he scored by putting his fingers in his ears as a celebration. Did not go down well with the fans and media. So a very rocky start to the club. Coutinho's first season stats were nonetheless pretty impressive. 42 matches, 21 goals and 16 assists in all competitions. However, his second season was awful. He played 54 matches, scored 11 goals and provided 5 assists. At this point, Barcelona once again thought they messed up the money transfer and Coutinho wasn't going to be the player they thought he was going to be. Coutinho, after that season, was shipped off to Bayern Munich on loan. For Bayern Munich, he played 39 matches, scored 11 goals, and provided 14 assists. But he also won the Champions League with Bayern, which left with Barca with egg on their face. Coutinho stayed at Bayern for the second consecutive season in the 2020 season, but after that was sent back to Barcelona. Once again, things didn't really work out. Now Coutinho is also looking to leave Barcelona. So overall, Barcelona are responsible for 2 of the worst signings in history of football in terms of how much they paid for him and what they got back in return. Completely wasted the money. Why they felt the need to spend that much on 2 players is beyond me, and now clubs have learned that those type of fees for players is simply outrageous. For example, Coutinho played a total of 106 games for Barcelona and scored 26 goals. You're telling me they paid 140 million euros just to get 106 games back in return and get 26 goals? For Dembele, he played 120 games and scored 30 goals. Again, so in a total of 280 million euros, they got back 226 games and 56 goals. Truly awful transfers. Whoever was in charge of Barcelona to make those decisions should be thrown down the well for this. I believe what happened was during that time of 2015 to 2018-19, transfer fees became huge and clubs were paying massive fees for average players. Before that, yes, of course, break the transfer record for the likes of Ronaldo, for Bale, who were going to work out, but once Man United paid 90 odd million for Pogba, then people were just dishing out 100 millions and 90 millions for average players. So what were the consequences of these terrible signings and burning of money by Barcelona? Well, last year Barcelona were on the brink of bankruptcy. They've had to ask all their top players to take a wage cut. They can't sign any big players anymore, and they have just lost their greatest player ever, the greatest footballer ever, Lionel Messi, on a free transfer because they can't afford to pay his wages anymore. Barcelona are not performing in the league well. They're struggling to qualify for the Champions League. They're constantly knocked out of the Champions League. They're not in the title race this year. They've had to sack a load of managers. It's just a very badly run club, and all the cracks were being papered by Messi's brilliance for all those years. But behind the scenes, they were not running the club well. However, with Xavi in charge, it seems like Barcelona are starting to get back to their old ways. Instead of spending ridiculous money and trying to bring in players, Barcelona are doing it their style of bringing young talent through La Masia. For example, Ansu Fati, Pedri, who will be looking to bring Barcelona back to its glory days. Thank you for tuning in.